Okay, we have today a nice integral from the Florida Integration Bee 2012, problem 12. We have the integral from 0 to 100 pi, square root 1 minus cosine 2x dx. Okay, at first I did notice the fact that we've got 100 pi. We have 100 pi right here, and this could be an issue. But we'll come back to that in a second. Right now, the thing that's interesting, is kind of suspicious, is just having a double angle inside the square root. Usually what we want to do here is some kind of double angle formula to simplify it. For cosine 2x, we have a few different options. But what I was thinking was a few of these formulas, we have 2 cosine squared minus 1. But what I want is I want something that's going to cancel with the 1 so we can get this as a perfect square. What I can do for this is use the formula that cosine 2x is going to be the same thing as 1 minus 2 sine squared x. So now when we rewrite this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute in this minus sign. So we're going to have, here I'll just write it all the way out. So we're going to have, distributing in the minus sign, we're going to have 1 minus 1 plus 2 sine squared x. But then 1 minus 1 is just 0, so we can kind of clean this up. And then now we have something here that we can simplify. We can kind of break up the 2 from the sine squared. So first we can just think of this first part as square root of 2, and I can bring this out front of the integral. And then for the square root of sine squared x, I have to do this kind of carefully. I'm going to write this as absolute value of sine x. And just notice we can't really drop the absolute value right now because from 0 to 100 pi, sine's going to take on positive and negative values. So we need to kind of preserve that and figure out how to get rid of the absolute value. Now this is where I want to deal with this 100 pi to try to simplify this. Now we know that the period on sine is going to be just 2 pi. So with 100 pi, we're just kind of repeating this over and over again. This is going to be unnecessary. So I can just notice the period's 2 pi, or I can split this up and write this as 50 times 2 pi and use the formula on this. You do a check. When you do sine of x plus 2 pi, you get back sine x. So that's going to allow me to pull this 50 out front. So regardless how you do this part, you're going to end up here with 50 square root of 2. And then our upper bound is just going to become 2 pi now for the absolute value sine x. And now at this point now I can deal with my absolute value. We want to break this up into cases where what we're going to want to know is where is sine going to be positive, where is it going to be negative. And what we can do is break this up into 2 integrals. So for the first one, if I go from 0 to pi on our unit circle, up here is 0 to pi, all these values, our sine is going to be positive. And then if this is pi, and then going in our third and fourth quadrants from pi to 2 pi, all these values of sine are going to be negative. So then knowing that between 0 and pi, sine's always positive, we can just drop absolute value here and write it as sine x. And then for the next part, going from pi to 2 pi, sine is always going to be negative, so we'll just bring a minus sign out front, and that's going to allow us to drop our absolute value here. But now we just have 2 easy integrals to do. Let's do these and we can finish it off. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and integrate here. Integral of sine x is just going to be minus cosine x evaluated from 0 to pi. And then here, actually, let's bring this back in here. So integral of minus sine x, that's just going to be plus cosine x, and we're evaluating from, this is actually wrong, right? This is going to be, I hope I had it right on the other board. This is supposed to be pi to 2 pi because we were breaking up our integral from 0 to 2 pi. Okay, so now we just need to evaluate first. Cosine at pi is going to be minus 1 times minus is a plus. Then here, minus times minus is going to be another plus. Cosine at 0 is just 1. Then evaluating cosine 2 pi, that's going to be 1 minus cosine pi again, minus 1 minus times minus is plus. And all we need to do is just add everything up. 2 plus 2 is 4 times 50 gives me my final solution of just 200 times square root of 2. Okay, there you go. Really good problem today from Florida Integration Bee 2012. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a good day.